Remembrance Day for me is not so much about a single memory. It's much more a collage of memories.
I remember back in 2012.
I was very young, very inexperienced.
Before I knew it, I was knocking at the gates of Kapooka, thinking, I think I've made a big mistake.
When I went to Kapooka as a 17-year-old, I hadn't been in a taxi, let alone on a plane.
When I went to the Middle East, I was a young officer, a captain, but had never been tested.
I can remember every moment of that visit.
When you start out in joining the Army, I think maybe you have a more romantic notion of what your service will be like and what it means.
I kind of had this perception that it would be like MESHA.
Extreme discipline and physical training. I also had an idea of where I wanted to end up, which was flying helicopters. It was the part in between, which I thought, well, I don't know what this pathway is actually going to be like.
We're going off on our first operation over to Rwanda, and as we're walking across the tarmac to the plane, the band was there and it started playing Waltzing Matilda. It just gave a great emotion to the moment and a real sense of, I guess, a place in history, a place in our culture, and being part of something that was much, much bigger than just an individual.
Look, not all my greatest achievements are perhaps all that significant to others. I think I remember when I was a young soldier, maybe 17, 18, busting out from an exercise at high range and doing a Macca's run at about 2 or 3 in the morning. And my webbing was just jammed full of Big Macs, no drinks, they were too hard to carry.
We had a pretty good setup there. I was in Lashkar, we had gardens right outside. The Afghans love their gardens. They see it as the closest thing to paradise on earth. And I'd steal a pastry from the dining facility and have a cup of tea in the gardens in the afternoons.
I remember getting on a bus with a whole bunch of Australians and New Zealanders and going out to the Kranji Commonwealth War Cemetery, and it was just before the sun came up and there were just these gravestones standing out white, ghostly white, in the half-light, and the cicadas were drumming away, and then in the distance there was a piper.
Defence gives you that opportunity to jump out of your comfort zone, more or less. So sometimes I was stepping outside the comfort zone, other times I felt like I was pole vaulting out of the comfort zone.
We were patrolling one of the central refugee camps one day, and we came upon a group of kids playing out on the street. And sure enough, an Israeli patrol came around the corner. Unfortunately, watching them play soccer was a young girl. She unfortunately was hit in the eye by a rubber bullet. We basically broke the rules. We drove forward, we got the girl into the back of the vehicle and then reversed out and took her to medical care. About 2 weeks after, we were invited by the family to come back and see Hannah. I naively thought I'd just give her a gift to cheer her up. So I gave her a little wind-up hopping kangaroo. And I had forgotten the Palestinian tradition that if you get given a gift, you have to give a gift back. The only thing young Hannah had that she gave me was the rubber bullet they'd taken out from behind her eye. And to this day, I carry that rubber bullet around with me wherever I go. What it reminds me of is that it doesn't matter how bad a day I'm having, someone in this world is having a lot worse day.
I was in southern Iraq and I got called down to the front gate because there was a local man out the front who was very agitated. As it turned out, this man's son, who was around 5 or 6, we figured out had cancer. And he was begging for us to take his son in to our hospital. What then occurred was about a 2-hour conversation where really it was just about absorbing this man's, I guess, desperation, because I couldn't help. He had accepted that, and he left. And to be standing there in such a powerful position, but to feel completely powerless, it's not something I'll ever forget.
We were given the chance as Army Reservists to go to Kangaroo Island and help fight the fire. Dad said that his brother, my uncle and my cousin had been killed. When I stepped onto the island, without me having to say anything, they recognised my name straight away, and one of the farmers' wives ran at me and literally grabbed me and hugged me, and yeah, she said thank you. So, with both of my uniforms that I wear, what the community expect of us is that when the moment occurs, when they are unable to complete what they need to do, it's our time to step up.
It gave me so much. You know, I paid for it, definitely. It's got me to where I am now, which is a place where I'm actually really content with both what I've done and learned through life.
Some extreme highs, some pretty low lows occasionally, but some really quite a thrilling ride.
If you care about community, if you care about what's right, and if you care about justice, then that's what service means.
The work we do is important. For some of the people I've met, you know, I may be one of the few people that remember them in that moment, and it's important that someone remembers it. It mattered then, it mattered through their life, it matters now for them.
When I was in Afghanistan, I only met one girl, but I did meet a lot of Afghan men and a lot of Afghan fathers. And so when I look at what's happening now, I think that if just one of those fathers took from that a different view about the importance of educating girls, of giving girls an opportunity that we take for granted to be whatever they can become, then it was something. It did matter.